What's up, guys? Back for episode 3 of BrokenGrandAm. This time we're talking about the security bypass and fixing it. Basically, you'll get a no start, either flashing a solid security light. It'll turn over, nothing happens. Sometimes you spray ether, it'll kind of try to start, but won't start. Pretty good indicator that something inside the ignition has failed, dirty key, BCM problems, something like that. I find the easiest way is to just do this bypass where it kind of gets rid of the variable of all the issues within the security system, which is actually pretty simple. So basically, I'll show you how to do the bypass either at the ignition, which is what I did, or you could do it at the BCM. About the same. BCM might be a little bit easier to get to. I'll show you how to change the ignition. If you want to try that route, most of the time that'll solve your problem, but you may run into it again. For a couple bucks, you buy a resistor, you put in line, and you just get rid of that problem for good. You could also have BCM problems, in which case you'll have to buy a BCM and have a dealership program it. When you go to look for the resistor, you can go on eBay. It's a 2.2K ohm resistor, quarter watt. That's what I've used in every single one that I've done. Every car I've owned as far as these, I've just done the bypass just to pretty much get rid of that problem and never have to worry about it. Something else to mention too is when you do the relearn that I talk about, you'll be doing that whether you do a bypass or you do an ignition. Either way, you have to get the BCM to learn the new resistance, whatever it may be, again, ignition or the bypass, so that it'll start just fine after that. So definitely pay attention when I show you how to do that. You need to follow that exactly, or else this won't work. So let's go ahead and get into it and see what we can do. Now, before doing anything electrical on any car ever, always be sure to undo your battery. Take an 8mm or 5/16 wrench, undo your ground, undo your positive, tuck them back behind, make sure they're not going to touch, put a rag in between, whatever you got to do to ensure it's not going to touch, that way you don't short anything out. So this would be the same thing as when we took this guy out. Start with taking your beauty ring out here. Just reach up under, you'll feel like the lip, and it'll pop out. So then you'll put your key in, turn it to just accessory. Now make sure your wheels are chalked. You don't want this rolling away. You're gonna go ahead and put your foot on the brake. Take it all the way back to first. This guy unplugged. This guy. And finally your hazard switch. Back into park. Take your key out. Alright, so 1, 2, and 3. Okay, once you 3 bolts out, kind of wiggle and pull. This will slide out. You can actually just go ahead and set this aside. You really don't have to unplug it, but if you wanted to, there's one plug here, and then your antenna. That's all you have to undo. Okay, now that you have your 2 bolts out, this guy you're going to push back. A little bit of finesse. And he'll come out over here. Now, we're looking at my car because I've done this mod already. So to show you kind of what it looks like when you're done, this is what we'll do. On the top left, you'll have 3 wires. 3 little wires. What you're going to do, as you can see here, I use this little connector. Kind of hard to tell. So there's a white, yellow, and a black. You're going to snip the yellow and black from the ignition. The ends which these are leading to the BCM. You're going to put into a connector, and you're putting a resistor in between them. Now what that does is you're just going to have a consistent resistance every time, which will allow the car to start every time. You can do this on the BCM side too, which I'll show you how to get to the BCM. Okay, so first you're going to get these two electrical connectors out. Push tabs, pop them out. Okay, so those are out. Next you're going to put your key in. And you're going to turn it. Push this tab in, and your ignition cylinder will come out. Just like that, this tab right here. You're going to pop out cable that goes to your interlock for your shifter. Take out the security. And there you go. The interlock in first. Now this will still be connected if you're doing the ignition instead of a bypass. So make sure you plug this guy back in, and then you'll go ahead and put the cylinder back in there. Don't mess with it, leave it turned as it is. It only goes in one way. Go till it pops. You can take your key back out. Make sure you put your electrical connectors back in. And you're going to go ahead and tuck everything back in there. Okay, so now this is back in there. Put your two screws back in. We're going to put your radio back in place. Put your bezel back on. And that's where we'll move to the Relearn. Then put your bolts back in. Now when you go to shove the radio in the hole, make sure you bring these guys back out, or else you're taking the radio back out. Go back to accessory, foot on the brake, all the way back. Slide this into place. Put your connections back in. Get it set into place. Now go back into park. Get your key back out. And then you'll be able to put this thing back into place. And it'll pop. Just like that. Give it a ring, and you're set to go. So if you want to go the BCM side route, here's how you get to that. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this push tab out, and you can drop this guy. Then you have 1 and 2 7mm bolts. Once you get those out, grab from this side, kind of twist or shake and pull. That'll pop out from your HVAC there. Now, according to my notes here, you want the center connector. Now this thing will come out if you want to. All it does is slide and drop. You kind of see how dirty mine is. That's how you'll find them sometimes, and sometimes these will actually get water in them and whatnot. But so what you're gonna want is the center connector. So this guy, and it will be A6 and B6. A6 will be the black, and right across from it, and B6 will be the yellow. So very small to kind of help you kind of see it. You'll see there's an A side and a B side, and there's 12 pins all together. So what you'll do is, so you'll see So this is A side, you'll find 6. Like I said, that'll be your black one. And then opposite of that, in B6, will be the yellow. So what you would do on this end is you would snip, give yourself a little bit, come up a little, on here, snip them, and you're going to want to connect the ends that are leading into the BCM. So on this side of the wire, you'll do your loop. The side heading into the car, you do nothing with. That's just going to the ignition, and that's not the part you want. You want the side that's going to tell the BCM that resistance that you're putting in there. You're going to want to get that piece in there first. Like that. Make sure it lines up. Just like that, and you'll make sure your bolt hole's lined up. And then this one you'll kind of have to look up in there to find the hole to make sure that sits right. Then you'll go ahead and put your other cover on this end and put your push pin back in. This is also pretty noteworthy. This infamous number 37 AC fuse will cause a no start that is identical to a security problem. So number 10, doesn't hurt to check fuses. That'd be the one to go after. Number 37. Alright, now that we have everything back together, so whether you went to the BCM or behind the ignition, everything's back together. Hook your battery back up. You're going to come in here and do the most important part of the whole thing. So, you're going to come in here, you turn to on. Don't start it. Now, right now you either have a solid or a flashing security light. And what you need to do is you need to wait 15 minutes. No less. It has to be 15 minutes or else it'll fail the timer and you'll be back to square one. Now all you have to do in that event is just key off, go back to this and just start over. So set yourself a timer for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, and then you'll key off, you'll key back on, which case it should go out, and then you'll start your car. And you should be good to go after that. Alright guys, well that's it for the security problems. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share it up. When you on the pages, on the Facebook pages, see people ask these questions, please share the video so that we can get the help out there for them. And we'll see you guys in the next one.